Lisa Collins joins me now. She's a fellow in Korea chair at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. So, Lisa, what does this latest round of sanctions mean? And are they as harsh as Trump claims?
So I think they mean that the Trump administration intends to continue its maximum pressure campaign on North Korea. I think it also means that in the short term, at least, direct dialogue between the United States and North Korea is probably unlikely at this point. It is a pretty significant move. I think the United States has sanctioned 28 ships. 19 of those are North Korean ships, and they conduct a significant amount of North Korean trade, particularly of coal and also of fuel. So I think it will have an impact.
What do you make of the timing of the sanctions, given the Olympic Games are still not over? There's been a lot of goodwill on the Korean peninsula. Do you think they will affect talks between the North and the South?
I don't think that they will have an immediate effect on talks between North Korea and South Korea. I think South Korea is very focused on engaging the North. I think it will rather have an effect on U.S. and North Korean talks if there were any attempts to do that during the Olympics.
And what about these reports, and Jack mentioned in his story, about Washington saying it may consider sending the Coast Guard to oversee or to enforce these new sanctions? Is that realistic?
So under international law, the United States cannot enforce these types of sanctions unilaterally, so it would need to cooperate with other countries in the region like South Korea and Japan and form a coalition of like-minded states to actually enforce them.
Why the sea vessels? You mentioned that it could have a big impact, but how are they being used to avoid sanctions?
So North Korea is currently not allowed to trade certain things such as seafood. It has a cap on coal that it's allowed to export to other countries. But some of these ships that have been named under this current Treasury action are ships that have been illegally trading in coal and also engaging in ship-to-ship transfers of fuel to help North Korea avoid or evade the sanctions in place under the UN Security Council resolutions.
So we have these sanctions, as we mentioned, and there are reports that we could see military exercises between the United States and the ROK resume once the Olympics are over. What do you make of that? How do you expect them to react?
Well, I think that if there are no direct talks between the U.S. and North Korea that happen during this time, unfortunately, North Korea is likely to react not very well to the restart of U.S. and South Korean military exercises. But again, I think that's something that we have to watch and wait to see what will happen.
And very quickly, do you think we could see something with Ivanka Trump's visit there by the end of the closing ceremonies?
Well, I think it's definitely possible. Anything is possible. But I think that it's a little unlikely at this point, particularly given the latest sanctions announcement today.
All right, Lisa Collins, we appreciate your insight. Thank you for joining us.